Hello, this video is looking at clause 611, general, subclause of 6.1, actions to address risks and opportunities. Firstly, the clause 6.1 is quite a big clause in this standard ISO 27001. So to make it clear, this short clip is really just to build upon what we've already looked at in the previous video for clause 6.1 in ISO 9001. In particular, it's just worth noting that the structure of this clause goes way beyond the requirements of 9001 because 9001 does not require risk assessment and risk treatment. Also worth noting is clause 611 of this standard contains the entire criteria that would be in the two subclauses of clause 6.1 ISO 9001. So I hope all that makes sense. You can pause, rewind, all of that thing if you want to hear that again. But essentially, we're looking in this video clause 611, the general application, and we're building upon what we've already looked at in the previous video for ISO 9001. Okay, so let's have a look at the criteria. When planning for the information security management system, the organization shall consider the issues referred to in 4.1 and the requirements referred to in 4.2, the determination of risks and opportunities that need to be addressed to ensure the information security management system can achieve its intended outcome, prevent or reduce undesired effects, and achieve continual improvement. The organization shall plan actions to address these risks and opportunities and how to integrate and implement these actions into the information security management system processes and evaluate the effectiveness of these actions. So just to recap on the 9001 video, largely the criteria is the same. It's looking for you to use the contextual issues that you've considered relevant to information security this time. And likewise, when you consider the requirements of interested parties for clause 4.2, because of the nature of that relationship, there will be issues that need to be considered. And we've already documented those issues on our the Enable ISO contextual issues register. So what this clause is doing is looking at the actions that are required then to look after or address or manage those issues through the business, however we decide to do it. So for ISO 9001, as we've already said, there's no requirement for risk assessment and risk treatment. It just leaves the organization to determine its own way of addressing the requirement for actions. So with this in mind, I just want to kind of make sure that that's understood, but with this kind of little bit of guidance, it's very easy to consider issues that are relating to the obvious cybersecurity threats, unauthorized access, the potential for unintended leaking of information, particularly via public platforms and social media platforms and so on. So what I would just like you to do is to consider, particularly with regard to clause 4.2, and consider the nature of the relationships with interested parties. So you may need to determine that you need to risk assess and treat a particular issue. And the other thing I would like you to consider here is that don't misinterpret the meaning of issue when it comes to event. So a risk event, let's take Brexit or COVID, can produce a number of issues that need to be individually risk assessed. So with that in mind, just really GDPR requires that we consider, therefore your ISO auditor is going to be looking to see that you've considered. And we're looking at making sure that the relevant things, so the sensitivity of the data, for example, that you're managing through various processes or because of particular relationships or organizational requirements toward relevant legislation. All of these issues go beyond 9001 and need to be nailed to make sure that you conform to ISO 27001. So keep in mind, you've got the chat box on the bottom right screen of the website. You've got plenty of opportunity to go and look at explanations in the ISO Explained and the ISO FAQ sections, and you can contact us for any further information. Okay, that's it for now. Take care.